Walk into almost any grocery store in America. You'll find bananas. They're affordable, they're healthy, and they're everywhere. Most people never stop to think about them. But behind this ordinary fruit lies an extraordinary story. A story that spans thousands of years. A story of exploration, trade, power, and global influence. Our journey begins nearly 10,000 years ago, deep inside the rainforests of Papua New Guinea. The first bananas looked nothing like the ones we eat today. They were small, filled with large, hard seeds, and difficult to eat. But early farmers noticed something remarkable. Some plants produced sweeter fruit, others had fewer seeds. Generation after generation, they carefully selected those plants. Over time, wild bananas slowly changed. They became larger, softer, sweeter, and almost seedless. Without realizing it, those early farmers created one of humanity's most important food crops. As ancient trade routes expanded, bananas spread across Southeast Asia, then India, China, the Middle East, and East Africa. For thousands of years, they remained a tropical fruit. No one imagined that this humble plant would one day change the world. As people traveled, so did bananas. Merchants carried young banana plants across rivers, over mountains, and along ancient trade routes. By around 5,000 years ago, bananas had spread throughout Southeast Asia. The warm climate made them easy to grow. Soon, they became an important source of food for many communities. From there, the fruit reached India. Ancient Indian scholars wrote about bananas in religious texts. The fruit was prized for its sweetness, its nutrition, and its ability to grow year-round. Unlike grain, banana plants produced food quickly and required very little maintenance. Over time, bananas became part of everyday life. They spread into China, then across the islands of the Pacific. Arab merchants later introduced bananas to East Africa. There, the fruit found another perfect home. African farmers developed new varieties. Bananas became a staple food for millions of people. For thousands of years, the banana remained a regional crop. It fed families, supported local economies, and quietly spread across continents. No one saw it as a global commodity. That would soon change. A new age of exploration was about to begin, and European ships were preparing to sail into unknown waters. Everything changed in the late 15th century. European explorers were searching for new trade routes. They wanted spices, gold, silk. Instead, they discovered something else. A fruit that grew quickly, produced large harvests, and thrived in tropical climates. Portuguese sailors were among the first to transport banana plants across the Atlantic Ocean. They introduced them to the Canary Islands, then to the Caribbean and the Americas. The climate was almost perfect. Banana plants grew at an incredible speed. Unlike many crops, they required relatively little care, and they produced fruit all year long. European landowners quickly realized bananas could become a profitable export. At first, production remained small. Most bananas were consumed locally. Long-distance transportation was still difficult. Fresh fruit spoiled quickly, without fast ships or refrigeration. Selling bananas across the ocean was nearly impossible. For a time, the banana remained a tropical curiosity. But technology was about to change everything. Steamships, railroads, and refrigeration would soon connect tropical plantations with American cities. The banana was no longer just a fruit. It was becoming a global business. By the late 19th century, everything was in place. Steamships made ocean travel faster. Railroads connected plantations to ports. Refrigerated cargo kept bananas fresh for weeks. For the first time in history, millions of bananas could reach American cities. Demand exploded. Families in New York, Chicago, and Boston had never seen anything like them. Bananas were sweet, affordable, easy to eat, and unlike seasonal fruit, they were available almost all year. Entrepreneurs saw a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. American businessmen began buying huge areas of land across Central America. Dense rainforests were cleared. Thousands of acres became banana plantations. Railroads were built. Private ports were constructed. Entire towns appeared almost overnight. Everything revolved around one crop, the banana. By the 1890s, several American companies were competing to control the growing market. But one company would soon rise above them all. It would dominate the industry for decades, influence foreign governments, and forever change the history of Central America. Its name was The United Fruit Company. The United Fruit Company wasn't just selling bananas, it was building an empire. By the early 20th century, the company controlled millions of acres of farmland across Central America. It owned railroads, ports, warehouses, steamships, even entire towns. Workers lived in company housing, bought food from company stores, and depended on the company for almost everything. The banana business became so powerful that governments often depended on it too. In several countries, company executives had enormous political influence. They negotiated directly with presidents, received tax breaks, and gained control over valuable land. The phrase, "banana republic," was born during this era. It described countries whose economies relied heavily on banana exports, while foreign corporations held extraordinary power. For American consumers, bananas remained cheap, fresh, and available year-round. Few people knew the true cost. Behind every shipment were thousands of workers laboring under difficult conditions, long hours, dangerous environments, and low wages. The banana had become one of America's favorite fruits, but behind its success was a story few people ever saw. By the 1920s, bananas had become one of America's favorite fruits. Every week, millions of bunches arrived at ports across the country. Families enjoyed them for breakfast. Children carried them to school. Stores couldn't keep them on the shelves. But while American consumers enjoyed inexpensive fruit, the real work happened thousands of miles away. Across Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Panama, thousands of workers spent long days in the tropical heat. They cleared dense jungle, planted young banana trees, cut heavy bunches by hand, and carried them through muddy fields to waiting rail cars. The work was exhausting. The tropical climate brought heavy rain, extreme heat, and dangerous insects. Diseases could spread quickly through the plantations. A single plant infection sometimes destroyed thousands of acres of banana trees. When that happened, entire harvests were lost. Companies rushed to open new plantations. More forests disappeared. More railroads stretched across the countryside. The demand from American supermarkets never slowed. Every week, more ships arrived. More bananas were harvested. More land was cleared. The banana industry was growing faster than ever before. But hidden beneath that rapid growth, a serious problem was beginning to appear. Nature was about to challenge the world's banana empire. By the middle of the 20th century, the banana industry faced its biggest crisis. Almost every plantation grew the same variety, the Gros Michel banana. It was larger than today's bananas, sweeter, creamier, and strong enough to survive long ocean journeys. But there was one dangerous weakness. Because every plant was nearly identical, a single disease could spread across entire plantations. That disease was called Panama disease. It attacked the roots. The leaves turned yellow. The plants slowly died. There was no cure, no chemical treatment, no way to stop it. One plantation after another was abandoned. Companies searched desperately for healthy land. They cut down more forests, opened new plantations, and moved farther across Central America. But the disease kept following them. It became clear. The Gros Michel banana could not survive forever. Scientists and growers needed another solution. After years of searching, they found a different variety. It was called the Cavendish banana. It wasn't quite as sweet. It tasted slightly different, but it had one major advantage. It resisted the disease that had destroyed millions of banana plants. Within a few decades, plantations around the world replaced Gros Michel with Cavendish. Today, almost every banana you see in a supermarket belongs to that single variety. For decades, the Cavendish banana seemed unstoppable. It replaced the Gros Michel across plantations around the world. American supermarkets quickly adapted. Most customers never noticed the change. Bananas remained affordable, sweet, and available throughout the year. By the 1960s, the banana had become a symbol of modern convenience. Every morning, millions of Americans packed bananas into lunchboxes. Restaurants blended them into milkshakes. Bakeries turned them into banana bread. The fruit had become part of everyday life. Behind the scenes, the industry was becoming even more advanced. Scientists developed better farming techniques. Refrigerated cargo ships crossed the Atlantic and Pacific every week. Special ripening warehouses used controlled temperatures and ethylene gas to ensure bananas reached stores at exactly the right shade of yellow. It was an enormous global operation. A banana harvested in Ecuador could appear on a grocery shelf in Chicago just days later. The journey involved farmers, truck drivers, railroad workers, port operators, cargo ships, distribution centers, and supermarket employees. Thousands of people worked together to deliver one simple piece of fruit. Consumers rarely thought about that journey. They simply picked up a bunch of bananas, placed them into a shopping cart, and continued with their day. The banana had become one of the world's greatest agricultural success stories. But another invisible threat was already spreading beneath the soil. A new strain of Panama disease, far more dangerous than the first, was beginning to appear. And once again, the future of the world's favorite banana was in danger. By the end of the 20th century, the banana business looked stronger than ever. Every year, more than 100 billion bananas were eaten around the world. In the United States alone, bananas became the #1 fresh fruit, more popular than apples, more popular than oranges. But hidden beneath that success, scientists were growing increasingly worried. Nearly every banana sold in supermarkets belonged to a single variety, the Cavendish. Every plantation, across Latin America, Asia, and Africa, was growing almost the exact same plant. That created a dangerous problem. If a new disease appeared, it could spread across every plantation on Earth, and that is exactly what happened. A new strain of Panama disease, known as Tropical Race 4, or simply TR4, began spreading through banana farms. Unlike earlier outbreaks, this strain was even more destructive. It lived inside the soil for decades. It infected the roots, slowly cutting off water and nutrients. By the middle of the 20th century, the banana was no longer just a fruit. It had become a business worth billions of dollars. And wherever that business expanded, politics often followed. In Central America, powerful fruit companies owned enormous banana plantations. They built railroads, private ports, hospitals, schools, even entire towns for their workers. Some companies became so influential that they held more economic power than the governments themselves. Their success depended on one thing: keeping bananas moving to American supermarkets every single day. When political leaders proposed land reforms or threatened company interests, conflicts often followed. One of the most famous examples happened in Guatemala. In 1954, the country's elected government introduced reforms that affected unused land owned by large foreign fruit companies. The political tensions quickly grew. During the Cold War, the United States became involved. The Guatemalan government was overthrown. Historians continue to debate many aspects of these events, but there is broad agreement that the banana business became deeply connected with international politics during this period. Around the same time, people began using a new phrase, banana republic. It described countries whose economies depended heavily on exporting a single crop, while foreign companies held enormous economic influence. For millions of American families, none of this was visible. They simply walked into a grocery store, bought a bunch of bananas, and went home. The journey behind that fruit, the plantations, the ships, the workers, and the political struggles remained almost completely hidden. The banana had become one of the clearest examples of how a simple everyday food could influence economies, governments, and even world history. Today, the banana is one of the most traded fruits on Earth. Every single year, more than 100 million tons of bananas are harvested around the world. The journey begins on tropical plantations. Countries like Ecuador, Costa Rica, Colombia, Guatemala, and the Philippines produce millions of tons of bananas every year. Ecuador alone exports more bananas than any other country. Once harvested, each banana is carefully inspected. Workers remove damaged fruit by hand. The bananas are washed, sorted, and packed into protective boxes. They are loaded onto refrigerated trucks, then transported to massive cargo ships waiting at nearby ports. Inside those ships, the temperature is carefully controlled. This slows the ripening process, allowing bananas to travel thousands of miles across the ocean without spoiling. After arriving in the United States, the bananas enter specialized ripening facilities. Here, the fruit is exposed to carefully measured amounts of ethylene gas. Within just a few days, bright green bananas slowly turn the familiar shade of yellow seen in grocery stores. Every step is carefully timed. If bananas ripen too early, millions of dollars can be lost. Today, global companies like Chiquita, Dole, and Del Monte coordinate enormous supply chains connecting farmers, shipping companies, distribution centers, and supermarkets across the world. But the industry now faces new challenges. Climate change is bringing stronger storms, longer droughts, and unpredictable weather. At the same time, plant diseases continue spreading across important growing regions. Scientists are racing to develop stronger banana varieties before future harvests are threatened. The modern banana industry is one of the greatest agricultural achievements in history, but its future is far from guaranteed. For thousands of years, the banana has traveled farther than almost any other fruit in human history. It began as a wild plant hidden deep within the rainforests of Papua New Guinea. Patient farmers transformed it. Ancient merchants carried it across Asia. Explorers brought it to new continents. Industrial shipping connected it to the modern world. And today, it appears on breakfast tables in millions of homes every single morning. Yet the story of the banana has never been only about food. It is a story of innovation, of exploration, of global trade. But it is also a story of powerful corporations, political influence, environmental change, and the fragile balance between nature and agriculture. Every banana you buy has traveled an incredible journey, from tropical plantations to packing facilities, across oceans, through refrigerated warehouses, and finally, to your local grocery store. Most people never think about that journey. They simply peel the fruit, take a bite, and move on with their day. But behind that simple moment lies thousands of years of human history. Today, scientists continue searching for banana varieties that can survive new diseases, changing climates, and the growing demands of a global population. The future of the banana is still being written. Just as farmers once transformed a wild fruit into the banana we know today, the next generation may once again change its future. So the next time you pick up a banana, remember, you're not just holding a piece of fruit. You're holding the legacy of ancient farmers, global exploration, scientific innovation, and one of the most remarkable agricultural stories ever told. Sometimes, the most ordinary things have the most extraordinary histories. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe for more fascinating stories from the history of food, and I'll see you in the next episode.